Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Kayo on Fracture. Today is day 45 of playing every agent on every map. Today's agent Kayo is probably with Breach one of the stronger agents on this map. He is pretty similar to a Breach in he has flashes and he has a molly to clear out certain spots, but he also has information with his knife, and his detain is a pretty strong thing you can use in the game. His ult also is pretty strong, but the problem with a Kayo is that he needs to have pretty decent team play to help his teammates to entry. That's why I only recommend playing Kayo on a team where you have two people playing with you, so you and another person, most likely a duelist, either a Chat, Neon or Raze, is pretty good for that thing. A Kayo is also pretty good if you are somebody that talks a lot and gives out a lot of information to his teammates and tells them where he's gonna flash and at what time the flashes pop. So playing a Kayo is a thing where you need to be a pretty good teammate, talk a lot, and give out a lot of information on what you are doing, and like that you can be a really good Kayo, and the people are gonna enjoy playing with you, and not being like, yeah, I'm gonna throw a flash, good luck everybody else, you guys are gonna get flashed, I'm not gonna get flashed, but I'm gonna get that kill. So be a team player, not a selfish player if you're playing a Kayo.
Nej, net Ollie.
You already know the deal. Don't forget to leave a like, sub, and a comment. Enjoy this 1v3 clutch I got recently.
One enemy remaining.
Starting off with A side defense. Chaos flashes are really good to take space in the beginning of the round. You could do that, for example, if you get yourself lined up with the wall right here, just walk straight into it, and then aim at the round right here. Then you throw your flash. Your flash pops around right here and flashes anyone in main. This is especially good if you have a teammate that is coming from here. Careful, the flash is also gonna flash that person that is coming here, so tell them to look away, and as soon as they hear the flash noise pop, they can swing out and get their free kills. Something you can also do if they are always rushing right here is to use a knife up here. It detains everyone in main and makes them not able to use any abilities, which is pretty good to stop a push from them. Another good flash you can throw, but the teammates also have to look away, is one like this one. Flash. Where you get yourself lined up on this line, it isn't too precise, and then you just throw a flash, aim at around this rock right here, throw it, and it pops pretty deep. This is especially good if you have, for example, a Neon that can dash out, flash pops around right here and flashes anyone in main. So the Neon can then just wait right here. As soon as you throw the flash, you can call it, and then the Neon can dash out, get the 3 kills, and then run back. A similar thing can also be done right here on Dish, where you get yourself lined up in this corner right here, and then use a flash, just aim around right here, aim a little higher, so that your HUD lines up with this spot right here, and then just throw. Flash pops up here, and it is pretty hard to dodge for the enemies. If they are coming in right here, they're gonna be looking right here, and your flash pops around up there, and they're gonna be full flashed. Your teammate that is walking out below here doesn't have to turn away, just maybe look a little bit to the right, and then he can swing out and get the 3 kills. You can also use a knife in the beginning of the round like this one to get information overdrop. If they are pushing fast, and if they are pushing fast, they're gonna get detained by it, and they're not gonna be able to use any more abilities, which makes them slow down, and you can then just hold right here, maybe even peek out with a flash like this, as soon as they're trying to take the orb. You can also throw a nade like this, that lands more or less good on the orb, and it does a lot of damage to the people that are coming up here. And you can also combine with that nade, you can combine going out and using like a flash either here, or even walking into your own molly and using a flash like this to peek the people close here. There's a couple of really good mollies you can use. One of them being one like this, that bounces off the wall right here and then stops them from coming down, and even if they are already down here, they're gonna take damage by the molly, because the molly lands around right here and does damage to anyone trying to go down towards drop. Like that, you stop their drop push. This is especially good if you have a smoke right here, and you can then even jump into the smoke right here and maybe flash out of the smoke and get some kills on the people that are playing Dish. Other good mollies is one right here, so they can't get out, or using one to stop the plant right here, or even on top. like this, the players that are trying to plant below here in the safe spot are not going to be able to plant because they're going to take damage from the molly above them. And the same thing can also be done for the plant right here. This molly is a little bit harder, and I don't really recommend throwing that because most of the times there's going to be somebody holding here. But if you have the space right here and there's a smoke right here, just line yourself up with around this spot right here. You're probably going to be able to see it over the smoke, or at least this spot right here. And you then just throw a molly like this, which lands pretty decently in default. It is kind of inconsistent though. If you get it a little better, it's going to land right here and does a lot of damage to the person trying to plant. To throw some knives that are pretty hard to shoot on a retake, I recommend either a knife right here to detain the people that are playing safe under here and on drop. You can also throw one right here to detain the people in main and close here. Or you can also throw a knife right here to detain anyone on site. The lower you get that knife, the harder it is to shoot for the people that are below. And you also get the information, if this knife gets shot and it lands right here, it can only be shot from either somebody playing all the way back here, which they're probably not going to shoot, or most likely somebody on top, and you're gonna hear the shooting noise, and you know somebody is up here, and then you can just spray through. Because this wall is pretty easy to shoot. Switching over towards B. On B, there's a couple of things you can do. Something I learned from Fake Anonymous, and I kind of adapted to myself, is a knife lineup that lands right here and reveals all of A halls for A info on A, and the people pushing here are gonna be slowed because of your knife. For that, you get yourself lined up right here. Just walk into this wall and look all the way down, so you are lined up with this line right here. And then you aim this part of your hut right in this corner. Then you throw the knife. Knife lands right here in this copy part, which is a pretty hard to shoot knife. So if the knife lands right here, the only spot where you can shoot it from is right here, and it is really unlikely that somebody's waiting for the knife right here. If you do it a couple of times, that might happen, but most of the times this knife is going to be impossible to shoot, and you get the information on the enemy people going in towards A main, and you detain them, making them slower and having to wait for a longer amount of time. This knife is a knife you use in the beginning of the round, right as the round starts, because right at that timing the people are usually in that space, and if they're going fast, you detain them all, and they have to slow down, and your team on A has more time to set up their defenses, or even you on B have time to rotate over towards A. To do the same thing but a little bit slower, is this lineup is exactly the one Fake Anonymous uses. It is a pretty easy one. You just aim around right here, and then you make sure that this part of the hut right here lines up with this part, and this part of the Kayo molly right here lines up with this line. And then you just shoot the knife. The knife lands at the exact same spot, it just takes longer to land though. So if the enemies are playing slow, this knife is pretty useful, or if you are using it, for example, they faked towards B, and you're not sure if they're rotating over towards A, you can use that knife. And it is also in a pretty safe spot right here. You can't really be seen from main, and you can't really be seen from the people that are coming out arcade, or even up here in tower. And now over to the last play I have from him in this video is you go right here, and then you line up this part of your hut with the part right here in this corner. It's pretty easy, just throw, and then you run in front, throw a flash like this, flash anyone in main. And you also deny the spot right here. As soon as they are flashed, they're gonna be walking either over here in towards the nade and take a lot of damage, or over here in towards you or your teammate that is waiting in front of main, and you can get some free kills off of that. There's also a couple of pretty easy knives you can use to stall them out. One I really like is one right here. It is pretty hard to shoot because it lands up here in the brush right here, and the people that are playing and coming in, there's usually a smoke in main, have a really hard time flicking up and destroying that knife, and the people that are standing behind them have no chance of shooting that knife. Or the other knife that you can use if you are standing farther behind is one like this on this wall. This one is easier to shoot, but it does the same thing. It also reveals main, and also reveals people in the tunnel area down here. So the people, this is for example, a use case for if you know they have a Killjoy ult, to stall out some time, because the Killjoy is most likely going to go tunnel to use her Killjoy ult, and if she is detained, it is harder for them to use that Killjoy ult, so they have to wait for a couple of seconds. Other things you can use if you are playing in tower is a molly right here close. This molly is pretty good because it covers all of the area right here, and it also covers part of the rope. This is especially useful if they are coming here as a full team, because like that you stall them from coming up here, and you can then also peek into it with a flash like this. Just use a left click flash through and peek in the molly and do damage on the people that are coming up here. This is a really unexpected play. Most of the times the enemies are just gonna be waiting for the molly to be over, and they're not gonna be aware that you can peek into the molly, especially not with a flash, and you can get a couple of kills off of that. If you want to stop the enemies from pushing this area right here in arcade, there's usually a smoke right here, but if there's not, you can get yourself all the way back here and throw a knife up here. It isn't too precise. It is pretty hard for the enemies to shoot because it is again behind them, and flicking up like that, sometimes they're not even going to be fully able to see it because of this ledge right here. So they have to shoot pretty precise, and they don't really have enough time to shoot it. This is also pretty good to stall. Something more you can do is to throw a flash over here, over these boxes or these pipes right here, for a teammate to push out here. Like that, you don't flash your teammate, and the enemies in main are going to be full flashed. The flash pops off around right here, and anyone coming in towards main is going to be full flashed. It is a pretty easy to dodge flash, but it can be combined with a early peek from a teammate right out here, so the enemies have to watch towards that side. They might be able to shoot your teammate first, but if they are dodging the flash, they are going to be looking away, and their crosshair placement is not going to be good enough to kill your teammate. Other good and pretty simple mollies are mollies here in main, to stop them from pushing out. Same thing can also be used up here. If you know they are close here, or for example taking the orb and there's a smoke on the orb, you can also use a molly right here. It does a lot of damage to them, and maybe even forces them to push in towards you. Or you can also throw a molly right here if the enemies are not going into tower and they're trying to come out here, to stop them out for a couple of seconds, which is a pretty good molly. You can also use your molly to stop the enemies from planting. There's usually a smoke right here, so you just aim around this spot right here a little lower, and then run throw. Your molly lands at default plant spot and does a lot of damage to them if they are trying to go for a plant. Same thing also for the really good spot right here. Usually to stop that spot you have to be right here, and then you aim at around this height. You can use your HUD right here. This moss part right here is the height you have to have. You usually run throw, and it lands in the default land spot, and even covers parts close here and even close here. This is especially good because the enemies are then going to be walking out towards the back and take even more damage and walk into your teammates that are holding from here or even from here. For a retake, I recommend a knife up here. It is pretty hard to get in the position to throw one right there, so you can also just go into this corner and then jiggle throw a knife like this. The knife being up here makes it pretty hard to be able to shot from up here. It is still possible though, and the people on here have a harder time shooting it too because it's behind the beams and they only have a little space where they can shoot the knife. And for flashes on a retake, I recommend to use just the marking and then use normal flashes. This is especially good for right here because you just throw without even walking, and the flash pops around right here and flashes anyone that's playing right here. Again, the distance for a flash or for a Kayo flash is 25 meters. So if you have 24 meters, if you mark something that is 24 meters away, the flash is most likely going to be a perfect pop flash for the people playing behind that. Always tell your teammates that you are flashing, else you're going to have some angry teammates that are saying, why are you flashing your teammates and not the enemy team? If you give out good comms and tell them, yeah, you're flashing that spot right there, for example, you're flashing default, then your teammates should know that they shouldn't be looking towards this space right here because it gets flashed. But in general, just giving out good comms, saying, yeah, you're flashing. You can also mark, I'm flashing on my mark. And then tell your teammates, yeah, it's gonna be there in like a couple of seconds. Switching over towards attack. On attack, something a lot of people don't know is that spot right here is actually row, like this area right here. So you can throw a knife in this corner right here to detain anyone that is playing that area, and also the people that are coming out towards door. So if they like pushing that spot, and especially if they have a Breach or a Sova playing up here that is waiting for their reveal, or even a Kayo waiting for a flash to throw through the doors in main, you can use this knife to detect them and make them not able to use their util because the knife is unbreakable and they're gonna be detained. You can also throw a knife here towards CT, the same thing, or you can even throw it a little deeper right here to detain the people, only detain the people that are playing in here to get some information off of it. This is also good if you're, for example, rotating from A towards B. Just throw a knife to get information on the enemies that are rotating to. Or you can also use a knife in this area right here to get information over canteen if there's somebody playing in there. But this knife is rarely used. It is pretty situational. For example, if you are rotating towards one side and you know the enemies are rotating too, and they are rotating through canteen, you can throw that knife. Coming over to the actual attack, you can mainly use your knife also on main, up here, or even close here. Do the same job. This one up here is easier to shoot if they are peeking out right here, but if they are peeking out far enough to be able to see that knife, their crosshair is going to be higher up and they're not going to be able to shoot the enemies that are coming out main. You can then either use a flash like this one. This is about 21 meters, so make sure this is a little more, and then just throw it, aim around this line right here and a little farther out from this spot right here, and then just throw. This flash pops at around right here and flashes anyone that is in main holding you, for example, with an op. Just be aware to tell your teammates again, your flash pops around right here, so they have to look away, and then they are able to peek out to get some free kills. Something that is also pretty useful is that your flash, even the right click, opens this door right here. For example, you can then gate close right here, throw your flash, and it flashes anyone up here, and this is a especially strong flash because the door opens at the same time the flash flashes them, and the enemies are going to be full flash and you can collect your free kills. Another thing you can do is to use your knife to open this door. I wouldn't recommend you play off of that yourself because most of the times you are not going to have your gun out already. So tell your teammates, yeah, you're going to open the door and then get behind these boxes so you are not able to get sprayed. Now onto the actual side take. There's usually a smoke in main and you can use that smoke to your advantage by just throwing a molly at around this area right here. It is something that comes with time while run throwing, which makes it so nobody is able to play in this close area right here, especially on top. So they're only going to be able to play over here. And the people that are playing down here are also going to get damaged by that molly. And then you can go into the main smoke and flash out like this. Flash anyone that is playing close here, or even on drop holding you. You can also use a nade from close here to throw it right here. Or even better, a little higher up. So it lands on default again and does damage to everyone playing on top and even below. Or you can even throw a molly like this at this wall right here to stop the enemies from playing in this annoying corner right here. Knives you can use is a simple one like here where you jump throw. This one is pretty easy to destroy, but it is in general a pretty good one. And flashes you can use is when you go a little further back, you mark around the top spot right here, walk back, and then this is a perfect pop flash that should be flashing anyone that is playing close to and flashes them for a longer amount of time. Let's say you are taking dish. On dish you can use a knife like this one, hide, and then the knife reveals anyone that is close here on drop or even trying to push up dish. And then you can use a flash like this one too, if you know there's somebody too close there. Anyone playing up here is gonna get flashed because the flash bounces off of this wall and then flashes around right here. And it makes it pretty hard for them to hold this area. You can then also take this ult for free because your ult is probably one of the stronger ults in the game. And then use your ult to take the site. Let's say you're coming up here drop, you can use mollies like these. Molly default under, For example, if you're playing up here, but you planted default right here in the under area, and like that you can get them off of the spike. Or you can use a flash out of the smoke right here. There's usually a smoke. Flash anyone on site and anyone holding you from here. Or even use a knife right here to detain anyone that is playing sands, which is also a pretty common spot for the enemies to play. You can then use your molly to stop them from pushing out CT. If you know somebody is close down here, you can use your molly like this and do a lot of damage to those guys. And in general, just throw your mollies in spots where you think the enemies are going to be. For example, also up here on rope to stop them from peeking. Switching over towards B. On B, there's a couple of things you can do. Throwing a knife down here is pretty good because you detain the people that are playing close here, behind those boxes. Also the people that are playing Chen or Canteen. This is especially good because most of the times the smokes player is playing somewhere around here. And with a knife like this, you are most likely going to detain them. And it's also unbreakable, which makes it even better because they can't break the knife, obviously. You can also use your knife up here to get information over the people that are playing in tower. You don't get any information on the people playing default, which isn't as good, but it is still a pretty good knife to throw. If you are playing with a duelist, this spot right here is going to be a pretty important one. Right here, there's an edge. You get yourself around right here. It isn't too precise. Then you throw a flash like this in towards main. Tell that to your duelist because it flashes everyone playing close here, playing close behind here, even the people playing here in canteen, here, or even in tower up here. This is especially good. This is an especially good flash if you have, for example, a chat, because like that the chat can throw a smoke, dash in towards the smoke. You throw this flash, the flash pops, and the chat just has to click heads on the people that are full flashed, and she has a free time doing that. Some good mollies you can use to take side is one right here, where you aim around this spot right here on the boxes, or if you're just doing a little sprint, your nade is gonna clear out the area behind here. Getting this molly really precise is a good thing. I don't have a lineup for that, that's why I'm just using this approximate lineup. Most of the times the enemies are gonna overcorrect their spot because they see they're in a molly and then expose themselves to the people that are coming out here. But if you are playing a Kayo on this map in Premiere or even in higher elos, having a precise lineup for this spot is a good idea. Other mollies you can use is one right here to stop them from pushing out. Same thing over here. Also over back here in this corner, or one over here if you know somebody is playing close, and then just holding them, waiting for them to come out. One other molly that is also pretty good is one up here. You get the people out of this corner right here, because this corner right here is a pretty good spot to play with a shorty, because most of the times this corner doesn't get checked, and it is a pretty hard corner to clear out, because if you are walking in here, you're exposing yourself to this spot right here, and you're gonna get killed from behind. To take this area, you can also use a left click flash like this. They're close behind you, and then take the rest of the area right here. Switching over towards arcade. On arcade, I actually have a pretty good lineup. You can get yourself stuck in here and then use the top corner of your knife HUD to throw this knife. The knife lands on top of here and detains everyone in tower, so you get information if there's anyone in tower. This is usually pretty good if they have a killjoy, because for example, I myself really like playing in tower as a killjoy, and it takes all the killjoy util out of the equation, and it is impossible to shoot this knife. You can also use a knife close here to get a similar effect, and you also get the information over people playing close here. If they decide to shoot the knife, you know there's somebody close here, and then you can spray through these boxes, or even throw a molly like this one to get them out of the boxes. Again, if you have a chat or a race, you can use a flash like this one. It pops here in tower, and they can then dash updraft up here, or even satchel up here, and focus the people that are in tower and get a free kill on them. You can also use a flash like this one. This one is a little harder to play off of, and it is also a pretty hard one to get up there. but it flashes the people that are playing close here, for example with shotguns, and it is in general a pretty good one you can use.
Flash.
Another knife you can use is one like this one.
Knife deployed.
It reveals all of Canteen and the players playing close behind Chen. This is also pretty good to detain the enemy smoker, because that's where these are the places where they are most likely at. And you can also use the same mollies, one right here, or even one up here, like this, to stop them from playing in the close corners right here. And so you are able to get up here and use a flash, clear out the rest of the space, use another flash like this, and clear out these spots right here and take tower control for free. Playing in tower is in general a pretty good idea, even in a post plant, because you can throw a knife in this corner right here, detain anyone that is playing close on site, or throw knives here, towards CT, towards this corner, behind the boxes here close, and all of those knives are pretty good knives to stall out the enemies from taking the site. For Kayo's ult, I only really have one thing to say. Use Kayo's ult on retaking sites and on taking a site. For example, on attack, if you are running towards B through B main, run up, pop your ult at around right here, and then take the site. The only actual trick I have with Kayo's ult is that you can stand below here and ult. To get all of the space on B, your ult covers all of here, and even covers some spots in towards CT. This is especially good on the B side, and it can only be used on the B side, because it covers all of the area on B, and everyone in here is going to be detained. Other than that, use your ult on retake. So for example, if you are coming out of CT and the enemies have planted on B, here and go in. Same thing over on A, if you are coming out here. Or if you are attacking on A, you can use it at around right here, and then I'd recommend actually going over here, because like that the people in CT are going to be detained too, and the people that are going towards site are going to get detained too, because you're coming out here. If I had to give Kayo a rating from S to F on this map, I'd only give him the A tier, because he requires more team play, and he is harder to use on this map other than, for example, a breach. But if he has the right team play, the right lineups, and the right way to use his util, he can be an S tier agent. But that takes some time to get used to, and you have to play a lot of Kayo to be a S tier Kayo on this map. If you want to see any other agents on other maps, write them down in the comments. And also don't forget to like and sub, and come say hi to me on Twitch, where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!